It's All Today live from the couch.
This is cool too. Master sculptor Sean Fitzpatrick will be in Times Square carving a 1,400-pound pumpkin. That's today, but first he'll be live on the couch teaching us the art of carving. I don't think he's bringing in the 14,000-pound pumpkin.
Yeah, 14,000 pounds.
But we're going to get a little smaller version.
Well, I think that might be a little bit
yeah, so we'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, we are excited because it is Halloween, and it just would not be complete without pumpkins.
Well, this master carver is showing us a few tricks that are safe enough for your kids to try. That's important.
Live from the couch is back in 2.
You know, these covers sometimes do better than the originals.
My cover? I thought it was
Not that one. Aretha sold a few more than Otis Redding did.
Nice Throwback Thursday.
It is a nice Throwback Thursday, and what a day for pumpkins. What's Halloween without pumpkins? The ghoulish jack-o'-lanterns glowing out on the front porches and windows everywhere.
Love it, but there is a trick to carving the perfect gourd.
Yes, that's right, John. Master sculptor and pumpkin carver Sean Fitzpatrick is here to show us how. Welcome to the couch.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
Now, I have to ask you, where did your love of pumpkin carving come from?
I always loved sculpting, and I started sculpting when my daughter was 3. She asked me, "Daddy, can you make me a snowman?" And I said, well, okay. I went outside. She said, "Daddy, it has to look like Santa Claus."
Oh.
Okay, so I always used to draw when I was younger, so I never really did sculpting. Fell in love with this impermanent medium. It translated into sand sculpting years later, pumpkin carving, ice sculpting, all hobbies, and then I just got carried away, so I had to quit my job and start doing it professionally.
Wow. That is really cool. So you did it later on in life. It wasn't something that you did like from your childhood years.
Yeah, basically what I did was I did what I had to do so that one day I could do what I wanted to do.
So cool. Ooh. That's the message, kids.
That's a great line.
Don't give up.
So
that's going to be my takeaway. Noted.
We're sculpting more than carving, but what are we trying to get done today? What are we up against?
So we have a finished product over here, and what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get that center leaf done. And basically all that requires is that we do a transfer of the design. I taped the design on your 2 pumpkins here, okay, and then I went around with a toothpick, and I'm going to illustrate that here, is I actually drew the design on. So if you feel a little creative, you can draw the design on. Use a dry erase marker, though.
Oh, smart. Okay.
Okay, it will transfer, and then you can wipe it off. No one's going to know, okay?
Nice.
So you're going to go all the way around. I'm going to do this really quickly, and I'm going to just trace the design. Now, you could actually start carving right away, but I'm just going to illustrate how you would do this on the paper.
Well, don't the holes make it a little bit easier to put the tool in?
Absolutely, and it gives you like a little guideline to kind of work with.
And isn't it, I mean, I think a lot of people just start carving, and wouldn't they be better served by actually planning it out and drawing it out?
You know what, that's a great idea. That's a great point, John, is that really planning your pumpkin, you're going to reduce the chance of making a mistake and having to get rid of your pumpkin and get another one and start all over from scratch.
It's about proper pumpkin planning.
Absolutely.
That will please many.
Sean, part of that planning you say is to wash and make sure you dry the pumpkin. Why is that so important?
Well, you know, you think about it, this pumpkin's been sitting out in the field, and, you know, mold grows out in the field too. And so as soon as you cut into that pumpkin, you're just going to infect the pumpkin. And it's going to mold.
Oh, you should, yeah. You should.
So wash your pumpkins, just like you wash your hands. Wash your pumpkins before you start carving.
How do you wash a 1,400-pound pumpkin?
Yeah, what do you do then?
Pressure washer. Yeah, you call in the fire department and they get the hose out,
like
and they basically do it.
Yes, okay.
But let's talk about that. You're carving a 1,400-pound pumpkin today in Times Square. How exciting.
Well, basically, yeah, it's a giant pumpkin. We get to carve that, and it's going to be an amazing thing. I'm going to be there all day long.
You're not intimidated by the big pumpkin?
No, it's just more to carve. Absolutely more to carve.
Can you share what design you're going to be doing?
Well, they actually voted on Facebook. They took a poll, you know, from people all around the world, fans of the Ripleys, believe it or not, in Times Square, and they voted for the world's fattest zombie.
There you go. Zombies are big.
That's a good challenge.
Yeah, let's get started. You just basically hold the pumpkin like that. You can remove your tape.
So this is, I can just remove this.
Yep. And Lisa, I'm going to give you your pumpkin.
John, your pumpkin's already
over here.
Okay, and we have your tool, so just
so then you just go like this, or how?
Yeah, just like you would hold a pen. You want to take the sharp edge of the tool.
This is a clay.
Okay.
This is a clay carving tool, right?
So you're going to exactly, yeah, it's a clay loop tool. And these tools are strong enough to get through the pumpkin, but also safe enough where with supervision you can use them with your kids.
Yeah,
Sean, I have a question for you. What is the biggest no-no when it comes to pumpkin carving?
Well, I think the biggest thing that you want to remember is, like I said, to wash the pumpkin. That's the big thing. You want to plan out carving, you know, before you do your design. But you don't have to cut the top off. That's the big thing. People think that, hey, I have to cut the top off my pumpkin.
Normally that's like the top, that's like the head.
Yeah, exactly. So you take the top off, all the moisture comes out of the pumpkin, and then it dries out faster. If you cut the bottom out, like what I did here on this pumpkin, you can see, is we cut the bottom out, and that's what we put our light. And if you look at the bottom of the pumpkin,
that's smart.
It actually looks like a little pumpkin, so it always goes back in the same way. It has a little keyway on the bottom, so you just pop it back in there, it holds the moisture in.
And then you're also not always relighting your candle.
Exactly, and that's the best thing about these two candles. Fire hazard. LED lights, safe. You don't have to worry about them catching fire if there's leaves out on the porch or anything like that. A light like this can stay lit for about 10 hours before you have to change the batteries. So
what about spray polyurethane to preserve the skin of the pumpkin or shellac?
You know, it's not really going to help that. Really, what I use is petroleum jelly.
Really? Vaseline?
I take petroleum jelly and I actually cover in all the cut edges, and just like your lips, it protects them from drying out. And when you protect the pumpkin from losing its moisture, exactly. And you guys are doing a great job. See, now you guys have done this before.
I've never done this before.
And now,
I've never done this ever. This is my first time.
Yeah, and now the kids can do this at home, and like I said, and they can do any design. They can carve their names in the pumpkin.
This is so cool. I don't know if mine really looks like a leaf.
It's getting there. Actually, you know what? You got to stand back and look at it and appreciate it.
So, Sean, I have to ask you, what if we do mess up? I mean, what do we do? We don't want to throw away our pumpkin.
No, you know, turn the pumpkin around, find another edge, or, you know, don't change the pumpkin, change your mind. Do another design.
Don't change the pumpkin, change your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Words to live by.
Yes, it is. You've given us a lot today.
This is Pumpkin Philosophy 101.
Deep thoughts. Deep pumpkin thoughts. Nice.
What is your favorite design you've ever done?
You know what? It's always the one I'm doing now, because it's always about being in the moment. You know, imagine me, an artist that gets to carve in front of people all the time. You know, I'm not locked up in a studio. I get to interact with people. I get to go on cool TV shows.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's really cool. So it's always the thing that I'm doing currently.
How did I do?
Well,
yours looks so much better than mine.
Well,
and John did a great job.
Well, thank you so much, and good luck with your 1,400-pound pumpkin later today.
John.
I can't wait to see everybody down at Ripley's today.
John, that's great.
Mine is like this is my first time, so I get a pass. I get a pass. All right.
Sean, thank you. This was fun.
Well, thanks for having me.
This is really
great. Okay.